Did you see the IGN article from the guy who watched like the first 30 minutes and reported on it?
Not that specific one, but I've seen a lot of people have seen the first 30, 35 minutes on my timeline.
I don't have it in front of me, so forgive me, but it's on IGN, I believe. And whoever wrote it was invited to a screening, 35 minutes, I think, is what he saw. And the point of the article was that he's been jaded about the MCU for a long time now. And like, this is exactly the kind of guy that you and I, and maybe a lot of the listeners out there, would want to hear from after having seen this footage. So he spoke to that experience and basically said it's everything that we could possibly want. And he was like, as somebody who's just been so jaded and so disappointed and apathetic about the MCU for years, he's like, yeah, this is the real deal. And you know, it's much more articulate if you read it. Actually, it was almost like emotional. Like when you read it, you're gonna be taken aback when you read it. But he basically talks about how he felt so much because he could tell that the filmmakers knew how much was riding on this. They are very aware of where the fans are with everything, which is hilarious in this like landscape that we're in right now with the Acolyte and how it feels like Lucasfilm has zero awareness about all this kind of stuff. So anyway, you can look this up on IGN and see all this. But he basically is like, yeah, this is when Deadpool says he's Marvel Jesus. It's not. It's for real.
Yeah, I'll give Kevin Feige credit. I mean, I have noticed on multiple occasions where he's not necessarily making the grandiose changes immediately, but he's taking in fan input. And I think he understands, Feige specifically, but really Marvel Studios right now, I think they understand where the fans are, and I think a type of movie like this is needed and is almost required for the MCU to move forward with any type of anticipation. And so if we get that, I do think this is going to be the movie to rejuvenate the fan base, the franchise, the MCU, and, you know, maybe Feige can take these things into account. And maybe that's why Captain America's reshot 4 times. You know what I mean? I mean, we're constantly getting people getting pissed off by this or that or just story qualms, and they've added in elements. I heard they added in, they're actually going to talk about the big thing sticking out of the earth from Eternals. Like, that's something that fans have been pissed off about. And Feige says, you know what? Let's address that in Captain America. So I do respect that Feige's taking in input. Now, Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm, I know they hear it. Are they going to make changes? I don't know. But I like that Marvel and Feige are doing that right now. It's kind of cool to see that.
I was going to say that. What if Brave New World is like Rogue One? And we were, you know, screaming, raising the red alarms. When we heard about the reshoots, we were losing our minds, and they pulled it off. I mean, what if it's cool? What if that's what happened? Maybe if they reshot it because Kevin Feige was like, absolutely not. We're going back to do more, and we're going to get this together. Because, you know, it was a couple of years ago when we talked about how, and we heard from how, what's his name, Bob Chapek, basically added all of these middlemen that Feige reported to. Feige wasn't able to shepherd all of the projects anymore. And as far as we know, he is now. And he's intervening and stepping in, and all that's behind us. So, yeah, what if getting Brave New World together is exactly Kevin Feige's response to what the fans have been. So anyway.
Yes.
All that came from me not believing that the Cap 4 trailer was coming out.
But you were right on that. And I do believe, you know, Comic-Con's going to be, we were talking about it last week or a couple weeks ago. I do believe Comic-Con's going to be huge for Marvel and for Feige. And anytime they have these big stage events and they do it right and they do it justice, even though, you know, sometimes 2 years later, those things don't come to pass. But if they do it right, this combined with Deadpool, the same weekend, Ryan, the same weekend, we will be on a Marvel high riding into the rest of this year. So I haven't felt that way in a while. So I'm very excited about that.
Me too, pal.